Okay, so let's talk about energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla said, if you want to comprehend the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Because that is what everything is. And everything rides on the back of the ether. Most people, they don't even know what ether is. And if you ask, they say it doesn't exist. But nothing exists without the ether. Everything that you see and everything that you hear uses the ether as the substrate to exist. Everything has a frequency. Everything has a vibration. Everything that you see, there's a range that we can see when we're looking at the electromagnetic spectrum. That big frequency range that encompasses everything. We hear between 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz. Nothing above and nothing below that. Now, every frequency has a function. You can do anything with frequency if you know which one. And now when we look at 5G, in and of itself, it's neither good nor evil. It's just a range of frequencies. It's not a tangible object. It's not a material. It's not any one thing. It's a range of frequencies defined between 600 megahertz and 100 gigahertz. And the communication frequencies range between 600 megahertz and predominantly 3 gigahertz. You have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, smart meters, and other devices that use the range near 2.45 gigahertz, which is the frequency of the microwave oven. Now you understand what microwaves do to your food, to your water. If you stuck a frog in the microwave as a kid, you know what happened to that frog. We don't have to talk about it, but you know what microwave energy can do. So when you're surrounded by things that use the same frequency, you get the same cause and effect relationship at a lower energy rating. Now there's far more that uses that frequency. Radar also uses that. So the NEXRAD stations, NEXRAD stations, they use between 2.7 and 3 gigahertz. That gives you the same effect in respect to exciting the hydrogen molecule, which heats you up from the inside. It cooks you. And they have 159 stations, towers, broadcasting transmitters, whatever you want to call them, across the United States. And they operate at 750 kilowatts of power, creating a massive electromagnetic field. And anyone within that field is affected by that energy and that frequency. And when you look at the NEXRAD satellite feeds, you see some of these fields are as large as the state itself. They're massive. People don't understand the cause and effect relationship between what that does to your health. But you need to, because you're inundated by it. It's being used as a silent weapon in a quiet war. But I'm not going to go deep into that because we've got so much more to cover. I must say one thing though. If you're wearing Bluetooth earbuds, it uses the same frequency. You're directly microwaving your brain. I don't care what you think. That's what's happening. It's one of those things that doesn't require you to believe in it to be real. Unlike climate change. Or COVID. But as we move on through here, we're going to look at 5G. The frequencies for communications cap out at most part at 3 gigahertz. Beyond that, it's really not healthy to use those as a carrier wave. Now, 18 gigahertz is what they say is used to activate the magnetic nanoparticles within the vaccines and the hydroxychloroquine. 27 gigahertz is said to sterilize a human. 37.5 is what they're using for Starlink. Does anyone know the cause and effect relationship of that frequency? 60 gigahertz is, I'm pretty sure, what Tesla's death ray was. It excites the oxygen molecule, which prevents uptake of oxygen in your body and your hemoglobin, which means you suffocate in a matter of seconds or minutes, depending upon the frequency. Depending upon how much energy. And at 95 gigahertz, we have the active denial system, which was developed by the military. If this was a Star Trek phaser, this would be your stun phase. All right? This makes you feel like your skin is on fire and it drives you backwards instinctively. They hit a crowd with this. They can target people from a long distance and a lot of people and hit them with this and drive them away in seconds. They could probably cook you if they held their finger on the trigger long enough. All these things are capable within the 5G range. Now, there are frequencies that can be used for healing and for all kinds of other things, and for remote control purposes. And those are all capabilities. But you got to realize, let's say in respect to these next rad stations, all right? You got 750 kilowatts of power. Your microwave oven on average uses about 1,500 watts. 750 kilowatts. Yeah, that's an outdoor microwave oven. You remember in the last World War II what they did with ovens and people? It's just like that, but it's a larger scale. And you can think I'm crazy, but you do the math. You figure out the cause and effect relationship of that frequency and that output power. Look at the next rad feeds and see them pulsing this from east to west on an almost daily basis. They can use this to manipulate weather as well. That's another part of this. What you have is a massive remote control system. If you look at a universal remote for a TV, for example, all those frequencies will operate other devices. Once you know the frequency, you can hack somebody else's TV. You can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can turn the volume up or down. You can change their channel. It's a lot like that. We are wireless, mobile, electronic devices. We have memories, we have processors, we have power banks, we have antennas, we have transmitters, and we have receivers built into us. Our hairs on our body are antennas. They're etheric antennas. Now more about the ether. That's what everything travels on. Light does not have a speed. It has a rate of induction. It is a perturbation in the ether, where darkness is unmanifested ether. Think of life as a hologram, as a simulation. And this will make sense. It's not going to make sense with the concept of reality that we were given in our factory indoctrination centers. Everything is inverted from that. And that's part of the challenge of life. The The planets, they're not spinning rock balls. They're sonoluminescent energy at specific frequencies. And as they move closer and further from us, they affect us. You know how the sun affects us. You know what it feels like when it's close and when it's far. But you don't understand how Mars works because you never learned about that. But it operates at 144.72 hertz. And that affects you as it moves closer and moves further, and as it mixes with the other planets. And that's the difference sometimes between a good day and a bad day, or a productive day and one where you just couldn't get nothing done to save your life. You're being influenced by these frequencies. There's so much more to it. But you gotta wrap your head around the ether, because that is the substrate that connects us all. You can understand how there's data being transmitted into Wi-Fi. There's consciousness transmitted and received through the ether. Data is like computer consciousness. And we're basically like biological androids. We're all programmed. Most people have no idea how we're being programmed, but it's done through the media and through your belief systems. If you want to escape your programming, you have to break down your belief systems and you have to find out what's real. And your path to enlightenment begins when you realize that saying, everything we believe is a lie, is true. And then you have to figure out what is true. And that's when it begins. Anyway, I'm just sharing what I've picked up along my way. I hope that helps somebody.